good morning, and welcome to a brand new beginning. Before you check your phone, before you think about yesterday, and before the world tells you who you need to be today, take this moment for yourself. This moment has the power to shape everything that follows. Every morning is more than the start of another day. It is the beginning of a new state of consciousness. The thoughts you choose, the emotions you embrace, and the beliefs you accept in these first few moments quietly influence the experiences you create throughout the day. Too often, people wake up carrying yesterday's worries into today. They replay old fears, remember past disappointments, and expect more of the same. But today, you are choosing a different path. Today, you are choosing to begin with faith instead of fear, gratitude instead of lack, peace instead of worry, and certainty instead of doubt. As you listen to these affirmations, don't simply repeat the words. Feel them. Allow each statement to become a living truth within you. Imagine that your deepest desires are no longer distant dreams, but present realities. Let your heart experience the joy, confidence, abundance, and peace of the person you are becoming. You don't need to force your future into existence. You don't need to chase every opportunity or struggle to make life happen. Your only responsibility is to align yourself with the reality you wish to experience and remain faithful to that inner state. Take a slow, deep breath, release every fear, let go of every limitation, open your heart to new possibilities. This is your morning, this is your fresh beginning. Everything you truly desire is already finding its way to you. Now, let's begin. Begin the morning by accepting your desire as already fulfilled. The first few moments after you wake up are among the most powerful moments of your entire day. Before the demands of life begin calling for your attention, before conversations fill your mind, and before responsibilities shape your emotions, your consciousness is quiet, open, and highly receptive. What you choose to think and feel during this sacred time quietly becomes the foundation upon which the rest of your day is built. Many people begin their mornings by remembering yesterday's disappointments or worrying about today's challenges. Without realizing it, they carry old emotions into a brand new day and unknowingly recreate the same experiences. But today you are invited to begin differently. Instead of waking up as someone who is waiting for life to improve, awaken as the person whose deepest desire has already been fulfilled. Imagine opening your eyes each morning with the calm certainty that everything you have been hoping for is already unfolding. Instead of asking, will today finally bring my breakthrough? Gently affirm within yourself, my breakthrough has already begun. Instead of wondering whether abundance will ever arrive, quietly accept that abundance is already becoming your reality. This simple shift transforms your relationship with life. You are no longer living from uncertainty. You are living from expectation. You are no longer waiting for permission to feel joyful. You choose joy first, trusting that your experiences will naturally begin reflecting the state you have embraced within. Consider the difference between two travelers preparing for an exciting journey. One constantly worries that something will go wrong. They fear delays, expect disappointment, and imagine obstacles before they even leave home. The other traveler prepares with excitement because they already believe wonderful experiences await them. Though both begin the same journey, their expectations create entirely different experiences. Life often unfolds in a similar way. The emotional atmosphere you carry into the day influences the way you perceive opportunities, respond to challenges, and interact with the people around you. Beginning your morning with the feeling of fulfillment, changes the entire direction of your awareness. Many people mistakenly believe they must earn gratitude after receiving what they desire. They tell themselves they will be thankful once success arrives, once finances improve, once relationships become harmonious, or once every problem has disappeared. Yet gratitude possesses its greatest power when it comes before visible evidence. Gratitude is not merely a response to blessings. It is a recognition that blessings are already unfolding, even if they have not yet appeared in physical form. When you wake each morning feeling genuinely thankful for the life that is coming into expression, you train your consciousness to focus on abundance instead of lack. This morning practice is not about pretending that challenges do not exist. It is about choosing which reality deserves your greatest attention. There will always be temporary circumstances asking for your focus. There may be unfinished responsibilities, unexpected obstacles, or unanswered questions. Yet none of these need to determine the emotional tone of your day. You can acknowledge temporary conditions without allowing them to become your permanent identity. Your greatest freedom lies in choosing your inner state, regardless of what is happening around you. One beautiful way to strengthen this morning habit is by spending a few quiet moments imagining how you would feel if your greatest desire had already become reality. Do not focus on the process of getting there. Instead, experience the peace, gratitude, confidence, and joy that naturally belong to the fulfilled version of yourself. Let those emotions become familiar. The more often you visit this inner state, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, you no longer have to force yourself to feel grateful or confident because those qualities have become part of your identity. Your morning affirmations become especially powerful when they are spoken with genuine feeling. Words repeated without emotion often remain only words. But when your heart becomes involved, those same words begin reshaping your consciousness. As you quietly affirm that everything you desire is already finding its way to you, allow yourself to believe it completely. Feel the relief of someone whose worries have already been answered. Feel the excitement of someone whose dreams are becoming reality. Feel the peace of someone who trusts that life is working beautifully behind the scenes. As this practice continues day after day, subtle changes begin appearing within you. You become calmer when unexpected situations arise, because your confidence no longer depends upon perfect circumstances. You notice opportunities that fear once prevented you from seeing. Your conversations become more encouraging because your thoughts are no longer dominated by limitation. You begin expecting good things naturally, and this expectation influences every decision you make throughout the day. What once required great effort gradually becomes your normal way of living. Remember that every visible achievement first exists as an invisible conviction. Before an inventor creates something extraordinary, they first believe in the possibility. Before an artist completes a masterpiece, they first see it within their imagination. Before a magnificent tree rises into the sky, its life quietly begins beneath the soil. In the same way, your future experiences begin with the convictions you nurture each morning. Every peaceful thought, every grateful feeling, and every confident expectation becomes another seed planted within your consciousness. There may still be mornings when doubt tries to return. Old habits may remind you of past disappointments. During those moments, gently return to your chosen state instead of criticizing yourself. Remember that transformation is built through consistency rather than perfection. Every morning you choose hope instead of fear, gratitude instead of complaint, and certainty instead of uncertainty, you strengthen the new identity you are creating. Small daily victories eventually produce extraordinary lifelong results. Never underestimate the creative influence of the way you begin your day. The first thoughts you accept often become the thoughts you carry. The emotions you cultivate in the morning frequently shape your responses throughout the hours that follow. By choosing to begin each day as someone whose desires are already fulfilled, you establish a foundation of peace that external circumstances cannot easily disturb. Instead of chasing happiness, you carry happiness within you. Instead of searching for abundance, you begin recognizing its presence everywhere. So tomorrow morning, before the world captures your attention, pause for a few moments. Breathe deeply. Quiet your mind. Place your attention upon the life you desire, not as a distant dream, but as a present reality already unfolding. Let gratitude fill your heart before evidence appears. Let confidence become stronger than uncertainty. Let peace replace striving. And as you step into the day, carry the quiet assurance that everything you truly desire is already on its way, because you have already accepted it within yourself. Your inner conversations create your outer reality. From the moment you wake up until the moment you fall asleep, there is a conversation taking place within you. It is quiet, almost invisible, yet it never stops. You speak to yourself through thoughts, expectations, memories, and imagined possibilities. These inner conversations shape the way you see the world, influence the emotions you experience, and guide the decisions you make every single day. Most people are unaware of how powerful these conversations truly are. They believe their circumstances create their thoughts, when in reality, their repeated thoughts gradually influence the way they experience their circumstances. If you wish to create a new reality, you must first become aware of the words you continually speak within yourself. Think about how often your mind repeats the same stories. If you have experienced disappointment, your inner voice may quietly remind you that things never work out. If you have faced rejection, it may whisper that people always leave. If you have struggled financially, it may constantly tell you that abundance is difficult to achieve. These inner conversations become so familiar that they begin to feel like facts. Yet they are not permanent truths. They are simply habits of thought that have been repeated, often enough to seem natural. The encouraging news is that any habit of thought can be replaced with a new one. Imagine living in a house where a radio has been playing the same negative station for years. At first, you may hardly notice it because you have become accustomed to hearing it. But the moment you change the station, everything feels different. The environment has not changed, only the message filling the space. Your mind works in much the same way. For years, it may have been tuned to fear, limitation, or self-doubt. Changing your inner conversations is like tuning your consciousness to a completely different frequency, one filled with hope, confidence, gratitude, and expectation. Every morning gives you an opportunity to choose the voice you will listen to throughout the day. Before old habits begin speaking, consciously decide what you want your inner conversations to sound like. Instead of thinking, I hope today is better, gently affirm, today is filled with beautiful opportunities. Instead of saying, nothing ever changes, remind yourself, every day my life is moving in a wonderful direction. Instead of fearing what might go wrong, quietly expect what can go right. These simple changes may seem small, but repeated consistently, they begin reshaping your entire outlook on life. The important thing is not merely repeating positive words, but allowing them to become believable and emotionally real. If your affirmations feel empty, slow down and connect with the feeling behind them. When you quietly say, "Everything I want is coming to me," pause and imagine the relief, joy, and gratitude you would naturally experience if that statement were already true. Allow your emotions to agree with your words. It is this union of thought and feeling that gradually transforms your consciousness. One reason inner conversations are so powerful is that they influence the way you interpret every experience. Two people can face the same situation and respond in completely different ways because of the conversations taking place within them. One person sees an obstacle and concludes that failure is inevitable. Another sees the same obstacle and believes it is simply an opportunity to grow stronger. The difference is not the situation itself, it is the inner meaning each person assigns to it. Your inner dialogue becomes the lens through which you experience life. This is especially important when challenges arise. Difficult moments often tempt you to return to old conversations filled with fear and discouragement. You may hear thoughts such as, "Maybe nothing is changing," or "Perhaps my dreams are impossible." Instead of accepting these thoughts as truth, gently replace them with conversations that reflect the reality you have chosen to live from. Tell yourself, "Every challenge is preparing me for something greater." Say, "Even now, wonderful things are unfolding beyond what I can presently see." Speak to yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you would offer to someone you deeply love. As you continue practicing this, your inner world begins becoming a place of peace rather than conflict. You stop arguing with yourself. You stop replaying painful memories and fearful predictions. Instead, your mind becomes filled with conversations that strengthen your confidence and inspire your actions. You begin noticing that your emotional state remains more stable because your thoughts are no longer constantly working against you. This inner harmony creates space for greater creativity, wiser decisions, and deeper joy. Your conversations with yourself also influence the way you interact with others. When your heart is filled with confidence and gratitude, you naturally become more patient, more understanding, and more generous. People often respond differently because the energy you bring into every interaction has changed. Opportunities begin appearing because your expectations have shifted. You notice possibilities that once escaped your attention because your mind is no longer consumed by fear. In this way, your outer world gradually begins reflecting the new conversations taking place within. It is important to remember that changing your inner dialogue is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. Just as a garden requires regular care to remain healthy, your mind benefits from consistent attention. Every day, remove thoughts that no longer serve you and plant thoughts that support the life you wish to experience. Do not become discouraged if old habits occasionally return. Simply notice them without judgment and gently guide your attention back to the conversations you have chosen. Every return strengthens your new pattern of thinking. Morning affirmations become especially valuable because they help establish these new conversations before the distractions of the day begin. They remind you of who you are becoming rather than who you have been. They shift your focus from limitation to possibility and from fear to expectation. With each repetition, your subconscious mind becomes more familiar with this higher way of thinking until it eventually accepts it as natural. Remember, your life often follows the direction of your dominant inner conversations. If your mind constantly speaks of lack, you remain aware of lack. If your mind continually speaks of possibility, your awareness expands toward possibility. Choose words that reflect the future you desire rather than the past you wish to leave behind. Speak to yourself with confidence, gratitude, and quiet certainty. Let every morning become a new opportunity to establish conversations that support your highest vision. As these empowering conversations become your daily habit, something remarkable begins to happen. You no longer need to force yourself to believe, because belief has become natural. Peace becomes familiar. Gratitude becomes effortless. Confidence becomes your default response. And one day, as you look around at the beautiful changes unfolding in your life, you will realize that everything first began with the conversations you chose to have within yourself. Your outer reality simply became the faithful reflection of the inner words you consistently accepted as true. Feel the reality before you see the evidence. One of the greatest secrets to inner transformation is learning to feel the reality of your desire before your physical senses can confirm it. Most people believe that feelings are simply reactions to events. They think they will feel joyful after success arrives, peaceful after problems disappear, grateful after abundance becomes visible, and confident after receiving proof that everything is working out. But there is another way to live. Instead of allowing the outer world to dictate your emotions, you can choose the emotional state you wish to experience first. In doing so, you begin living from the reality you desire rather than continually reacting to the reality you are trying to leave behind. Think about how often people postpone happiness until a future moment. They say, "When I get the promotion, then I'll feel successful. When I meet the right person, then I'll feel loved. When my finances improve, then I'll finally relax." Without realizing it, they make their peace dependent upon circumstances they cannot fully control. This creates a cycle of endless waiting, because every new achievement quickly gives birth to another condition for happiness. The heart never truly rests, because fulfillment is always placed somewhere in the future. Yet genuine transformation begins the moment you decide to experience the feeling now. Imagine an actor preparing for an important role. They do not simply memorize words, they step into the emotions of the character they are portraying. They think like that person, respond like that person, and allow those feelings to become so real that the performance feels completely natural. In a much deeper sense, you are invited to step into the emotional life of the person you desire to become. If your dream has already come true, how would you feel? Would you feel calm instead of anxious, confident instead of doubtful, grateful instead of frustrated? Allow yourself to experience those emotions today rather than postponing them until tomorrow. Your feelings are far more than temporary emotional experiences. They influence the way you think, the choices you make, and the opportunities you recognize. A peaceful mind notices possibilities that fear often overlooks. A grateful heart sees blessings where others only see limitations. A confident spirit moves toward opportunities that insecurity would avoid. In this way, your emotional state quietly shapes your daily experience. When you consistently feel as though your desired life is already unfolding, your actions naturally begin aligning with that belief. This does not mean pretending that difficulties do not exist. Life will still present challenges, unanswered questions, and unexpected changes. Feeling the reality of your desire means refusing to allow those temporary conditions to determine your permanent state of being. You acknowledge the challenge, surrendering your inner peace. You recognize the obstacle without abandoning your confidence. You understand that appearances are temporary, while the consciousness you choose to occupy has the power to influence the direction of your future. One beautiful way to strengthen this practice is through imagination. Set aside a few quiet moments each morning and picture a simple scene that would naturally occur if your desire had already become reality. Do not focus on the process of getting there. Instead, experience the end result. Imagine yourself smiling with genuine relief. Picture yourself sharing wonderful news with someone you love. Feel the gratitude of waking up, knowing that everything has worked out beautifully. Allow the scene to become emotionally real. Even if it lasts only a minute or two, the feeling it creates begins reshaping your inner world. Many people become discouraged because they expect instant visible results after a few moments of positive feeling. But just as a seed requires time to grow after it is planted, the new emotional atmosphere you are cultivating also develops through consistency. Every day you return to the feeling of fulfillment, you strengthen the roots of your new consciousness. Though the outer world may appear unchanged for a season, something meaningful is quietly taking place within you. Patience allows this invisible transformation to mature until it naturally expresses itself outwardly. Notice how different your day becomes when you begin with the feeling that everything is already working in your favor. Instead of approaching conversations with nervousness, you become more relaxed. Instead of expecting rejection, you become open to meaningful connections. Instead of worrying about every detail, you trust that the right opportunities will appear at the right time. These subtle changes influence countless decisions throughout your day, creating a chain of experiences that reflect your new emotional state. There will be moments when old feelings attempt to return. Fear may whisper that you are imagining something impossible. Doubt may encourage you to judge your progress by appearances. During those moments, gently return to the feeling you have chosen. You do not need to fight every fearful thought. Simply redirect your attention. Breathe deeply. Remember the peace, gratitude, and confidence you experienced during your morning practice. Every time you return to that higher feeling, you weaken the influence of old emotional habits and strengthen the new reality taking shape within you. It is also important to understand that feeling fulfilled does not make you passive. On the contrary, it inspires wise action. When you feel confident, you naturally notice opportunities that align with your goals. When you feel abundant, generosity becomes easier. When you feel loved, you treat others with greater kindness. Your actions become natural expressions of your inner state rather than desperate attempts to create it. This harmony between feeling and action allows life to unfold with greater ease and less struggle. As this practice becomes part of your daily routine, you will notice a remarkable shift. You no longer spend every moment asking when your desires will appear because you already carry the emotional atmosphere of fulfillment within you. Joy becomes less dependent upon circumstances. Gratitude becomes your natural response. Peace remains with you even during uncertain seasons. These are not merely pleasant emotions. They are signs that your consciousness has begun changing in profound ways. One day, the outer world will begin reflecting the feelings you have faithfully cultivated. Opportunities will appear that once seemed impossible. Relationships will improve in unexpected ways. New ideas will come with surprising clarity. Doors will open that fear once convinced you were permanently closed. Others may call these fortunate coincidences, but you will recognize them as the natural expression of the inner reality you chose long before visible evidence arrived. So do not wait for tomorrow to give yourself permission to feel successful, abundant, peaceful, or deeply loved. Choose those feelings today. Let them become the atmosphere in which your life grows. Protect them from doubt. Nourish them with